there's so much out there right now talking about Trump having become Jewish 2 years ago, and or people believing that he's compromised and in fact beholden to Israel, like so many other politicians, almost all of them apparently, from what deep divers have discovered. Okay, so we always thought Trump was not in that club. But there's some weird things going on. For one of them, like how he went back and forth on the Epstein list. That was a little alarming and shocking and even scary. And then denying that it was even a thing. Okay. And then now his chief of staff denying that it's even a thing and that there is no Epstein list. Like, there's just weird things are going on. And when I've looked at this, I've often got that a lot of this is comms. Okay. So could it be, we're all human. Am I asking the wrong questions? We got to ask the tough questions sometimes. Maybe the universe wasn't ready to tell us this. Maybe we needed to believe in Trump until a certain time. And then we could, slowly get moved into the idea that maybe they are, like, this is a theater and it is a movie. And this guy is, in fact, for sure, we know the Trump they've been playing is somebody who's many, maybe different Trumps. So they're using doubles and mask wearers, okay? But does the theory go all the way to Trump was actually, gone a long time ago? Okay, so there's that theory. So there's the theory that in 87 or 86, I can't remember, there was a plane crash and he died. So there was that theory. I looked into that several times. I'm just going to give you some background, okay? I looked into that one so many times. I can't even tell you. I always look at these questions because I'm not afraid to look at things, right? You guys know I'm not afraid to go, okay, what's really going on here? And it never did look like it. What it always looks like is the real Trump is safely away, and they keep him insulated, and he's running a lot of things. So he's part of a group called the White Hat Alliance. That's what I've been getting for years. And that he's part of it and makes some decisions with them, and that they chose him as their front guy, okay? Because he has the kind of personality that he could, like, the kind of brand, you could say, that could take all the brunt of what he was going to be in for. Okay, so his whole family signed up to take the kind of brunt that they're in for. And sometimes we don't even see the real Melania, and that's all obvious, like when you look at some of the photos. And sometimes it looks like maybe it is the real Melania. So it's very confusing. We're in confusing times. But let's come back to the essence of what prompted me today to look at this in a little more detail. And let's watch this guy and listen to what he has to say, and we'll go from there. Okay.
Is Trump Jewish? Like, I'm asking for real. Like, I've been sent a lot of videos and I'm asking this so you can comment below, but is he Jewish? Because I saw that his daughter converted to Judaism. And then I saw this very disturbing video where he pretty much confirms the question that I'm asking, but is he just saying this? But this is with Mark Levin on stage where he says, it's true, it's true.
And these people do like Israel.
Hold on. And he loves Israel too.
It's true.
2 seconds. 6 years ago, I was up here, and I said, this is our first Jewish president. Now he's the first Jewish president to serve two not consecutive presidencies. We thank you for everything.
That's right. Bad things happened on the second one. Namely, the election was rigged. And we found out, and you see that happening. But
And you are the greatest president.
thank you.
And then I saw this video. This is alleged because I don't know, but I think we should probably talk about this video if it's true.
Donald Trump converted to Judaism 2 years ago, according to White House official. There it is. That's his blog. He said, President Donald Trump converted to Judaism 2 years ago and joined Chabad Lubavitch Synagogue in New York City, according to a high-level White House official. Mr. Goldberg says the story has allegedly been held by CNN's editors for months, but is due to be released within the next few days. David Elias Goldberg, a fellow at the Jewish Center of Anti-Semitic Study, has also interviewed the White House source. According to the source, Trump was pushed by his daughter Ivanka and son-in-law Jared Kushner to join the faith. At first, Trump resisted, stating it would threaten his base of evangelical Christian voters. However, he had a change of heart and officially converted in early 2017. The ceremony was held in private and closely guarded for nearly 2 years.
And then I saw that he said this, which was really alarming, actually, as a Christian.
I don't think there's anything going to get me in heaven. Okay, I really don't. I think I'm not maybe heaven bound.
Anyway, I don't know what to say about that. It's disturbing. That last video is the most disturbing. If you're a Christian and you know that Jesus is the Christ and that you have repented of your sins, that he is the way. Anyway, what do you think? Do you think that he is a Christian or is he Jewish?
Wow. Okay. So a lot of things to unpack. Now, that second part there where the other fellow's saying, some guy's saying he converted 2 years ago. Okay. Doesn't really fit in with that other guy's story. So that Jewish fellow he was up on stage with that said he was the first Jewish president. He was saying that 6 years ago. So it doesn't really fit in with it. And to be honest, none of that's been confirmed. And there's no proof that that's true, by the way. Okay. So those could just, remember, these guys hate him. Okay, so all the deep staters, they've been hating on Trump since day one. And this could just be, okay, because they got no other leverage, a way to attack and take down, the brand of Trump. Okay, this could be, right? So I've got to be really careful how I ask the question. So let me really think about this now, how to ask this. So I've asked even recently, does Trump have good intentions towards the world, but in particular, I said humanity, but in particular, the US. Okay, because of course he's Trump, he's US first, blah, 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 all that stuff he says, okay? But if he's the leader of the White Hat Alliance, like I believe he is, I use the term the world. Does he have good intentions toward the world and humanity? And it came out actually glowing that he did. And that is very consistent with what I've been getting, okay? But I didn't specifically say, is he Jewish? I certainly never asked. I don't remember asking if he was Jewish, okay? So let's ask, are the rumors true that Trump is in fact Jewish as opposed to Christian? Is he in fact Jewish? Okay, because really, and we won't put a time limit on it because that makes a really big difference. I mean, he is seen a lot with preachers and Christian leaders. Of course, any president would need to be hanging out with top leaders from all the big organizations. So that makes sense. He's also seen a lot with Jewish people. We see by the way, all the presidents, there's videos of them at that praying wall, by the way. So the fact that they always show that, Democrats love to show that one, where he's at the praying wall with the little hat cap on. Okay, all of them go there and do that. Okay, so that's not just Trump, by the way. That doesn't prove to me that he's Jewish, by the way. Okay, so we're going to ask, so is this a big ploy to throw everybody off and just at the last minute take them out kind of thing? Or is, in fact, do we have a Jewish, so we're literally going, is this person they're presenting as Trump? I'm going to say it like that. So the guy that they've got playing the brand of Trump, is he in fact Jewish? Okay, are they going to dump that one on us? It's like, oh, that would be crazy. Okay, let's have a look. I mean, that could be part of the theater too, right? There could be a reason why they're going to play something like that out. Maybe they're trying to teach us not to have idols, not to put people on pedestals, that everybody's somehow compromised, and the real saviors of our world is our own selves. You know, there's that angle, right? Okay, so let's have a look. I got to be honest, I'm a bit nervous about this poll. Okay, so those are major arcanas, but they're not yes kind of major arcanas. We've got the death card and the moon, so that's interesting. Double death cards here. Okay, and the 7 in the middle. Okay, so the middle is how the general population views the situation. There's a lot of confusion around it. The death card is the ending of something. The ending of something. And this is also an ending card because it's like a death card. Something's ending, so something's ending. Something's ending. Okay, I wouldn't get a yes that he's Jewish. I'm not getting any yeses that he's Jewish. We've got the Knight of Cups in the past. That's interesting. So there's a young male around him. There's a young male around him. Maybe this is coming from or stems from this guy here. This is also kind of a wishy-washy card, and they have really, it is kind of wishy-washy, even between what the Jewish guy up on stage says and then what that guy says. Like the information's pretty wishy-washy. So it's not necessarily, so where does the information come from? It doesn't necessarily come from a reputable source. This guy's not our most reputable knight. He's kind of wishy-washy and goes with wherever the energy's going and flows. Okay, and this is almost like this is going to put this to rest. I feel like this will put this to rest. So something's, we don't know yet, something's coming out because this is information coming out. We don't know yet that's going to put this to rest. So the question, is he Jewish? I feel like they're working up to putting that question for rest once and for all. So it's like they're putting it in your face so we get it out and over with. It's almost like going to clear the air. Something's going to clear the air. Something's going to clear the air and leave this behind us. Okay, so we've got, yeah, no, this is the overview. So the King of Swords. So the King of Swords is, there's a truthfulness to the King of Swords. And there's also the 9 of Cups. And this is around a big overview for everybody watching. Okay, so this is a wish come true and a truthfulness. I think the truth is really soon coming out about the whole theater. Okay, about everything. Okay, because that's how big these cards are. There's huge truths coming out, and I feel like they're playing this out for one last time. This isn't even the bad guys. This feels like the theater, or the, yeah, it's like political theater we've been watching is playing out this scenario just to absolutely like expose and then dissipate it. Okay, so I'd say no. He's not Jewish. And then we've got, and they're not going to play that he's literally Jewish. They're going to bring all of these rumors out, and then it'll all turn into a nothing burger. This card's kind of the nothing burger. And we will be able to see from a big perspective and go forward with like a clean slate. It's almost like they're clearing up because that's been around for a really long time. So I feel like they might even be bringing to the foreground all of these naysayers and people that have been claiming that just to expose them. So I'm going to say no. And it feels like a play. We haven't seen the whole play yet, so we have to wait till it works itself out. And it's going to, the real truth, I feel like this audience is going to be really happy about the real truth when you find out the real truth. So I don't believe in any way that Trump's Jewish or has been hiding that he's Jewish. Okay, so yeah. And by the way, when I've looked into, so why does he always, he does seem to really yup up Israel sometimes. Sometimes he does and sometimes he doesn't. I always get that there's some big gonna turnaround thing happen in the theater that we're watching that they call politics. And I know it's confusing, guys, but it always looks like there's something gonna really turn around and make it really obvious why he does that. It's like a big political move, and he absolutely will call Israel, just like he'll call anybody if they're in the wrong, for various things. He's going to call them, to account for it, just like he would call anybody. Okay, so he being the brand that's being, utilized by the White Hat Alliance. Okay, so I'm not thinking of him like the individual. Wow. Okay, well, that was, okay. That's a layer off anyway. There's so much more. We could spend hours just looking at stuff, but we don't really have time to do that. By the way, it is that season, the ho, ho, ho holidays season, according to this advertisement here. 50% off Insider Access Pass. Super good deal, by the way. And there's also 50% off all of the Academy offerings. So that's a huge deal. Go on over to the Beyond Mystic Academy for that. Now, my second thing I want to do. So since we're going on holiday, so all the staff and the Beyond Mystic peoples are going on holidays between December 22nd and January 4th. So the usual shows won't be on. Okay, some things will be on. Just have a look at the schedule, but the usual shows, and this show is one of them that won't be on. All right, so you won't see me now till early January. So what I want to do is look at a big picture with the 7-card spread on what can we expect going through. And now we're talking in the big picture. Are there big events, like world kind of stuff? We're talking world stage, not individual places, because that would take hours to look at every place. But we can look at, according to the universe, what can the world expect going through this season? Okay, because we've got people watching here from all over the globe, which is so amazing. Just that in itself is amazing. But let's have a look. So we've got the Queen of Swords there. Now we've got the Justice card, the Justice and the Queen. Queen of Swords, Justice. So she is very much like a tribunal card, or can be. She's about really bringing somebody up on something and calling them on their shit, that sort of thing, right? She's very direct and doesn't tippy-toe around and doesn't go through usual channels. She just pulls you up on your shit. Excuse my language if that offends you. Okay, so here we've got the Justice card. Now, the Justice card can be literally justice. So I feel like between now and then, I would be very surprised to not see somebody either get arrested and or come right out in the open about either what happened to them, how they were called to justice, or being called to justice on the public, in a public way. Okay, so publicly called to justice. And this could even be the outing, some kind of outing, although this has already happened quite a few times if you've been paying attention. It's been really clearly outed that Trump has said the word tribunals. He even, in a post, he shared a post and asked if people would support military tribunals, which is, to me, it's like, that's as good as saying that military tribunal rumor stuff, that's true. Okay. And I've been saying for years they've been having these military tribunals, probably since 2016. They've been at it, actually. That's how crazy our world is that we're in. A lot of things we think are happening now already happened quite a while ago, and they play them out in a way that's maybe more digestible, or I don't know, helps us understand them more, maybe. Anyway, a lot of things we're watching have already happened, I guess is what I'm saying. But these two cards look like, I think, a lot more outing about tribunals here, and or somebody being actually taken in and called to justice in front of everybody, which sounds like an arrest to me. Maybe more than one. That would be really exciting. But anyway, one anyway. Okay, so here we've got the 7 of Cups here, or sorry, the 5 of Cups. So this one's a little disappointing here. I feel like there's a disappointment between now and the end of maybe 2025. That just, I would just hazard a guess here, and it's a guess, that disappointment might be the Epstein files. I feel like, and I did a read on this yesterday, and I feel like, and I've often got that the Epstein files won't officially come out tomorrow, like they say. It's Friday the 19th. They say they're going to come out. No, I don't. I think they're going to step back and or just release some of them, and or release something that isn't satisfactory and people don't see it as this is what we were looking for. The meat isn't in, I don't think, what's coming out tomorrow. And I hate to be the bearer of that bad news, but that's just what I get with the cards. I hope I'm wrong about that. I hope it really does come out tomorrow, but the cards are saying no, you're going to be disappointed. I feel like that's probably what that's talking about there. So there's a disappointment for the community. The good news is this disappointment short-lived. I keep getting that February is more a date for that kind of disclosure. Okay. Now here we've got the hidden influence. Here is the Fool. So things could go in directions in certain areas, directions we never expected. Okay. So there's really weird things that we never expected coming out, and things we were expecting, maybe we're disappointed they didn't come out. Okay, so try to watch for what does come out and don't lament what didn't happen. Try noticing what does, because some really unexpected things come out. We all know that even this community will be surprised by some of the things that are disclosed in the coming months, days, months, years. We're going to even be surprised, at the things we learn. Okay, here we've got, so it's all connected to secrets. Okay, so the secrets coming out might be big secrets, maybe not the ones we were focused on. This card reminds us to not cry over spilt wine in this case. If you look closely at those cups, it looks like there's spilt wine, but there's 2 full cups behind. So notice what you do get, not what you don't get, right? So try not to stay, because how we feel, because cups are emotions, how we feel about things, we can actually check in with our feelings and shift them energetically, or at least not stay tied to them, or not stay like kind of a prisoner to the feelings. You know what I'm saying? Whereas this card kind of sometimes stays too long in disappointment. Disappointment to me is like a huge waste of time. It's a way, move on, okay? Because life's not going to wait for your disappointment, right? Okay, so we're going to need to move on and notice what is happening and not what didn't happen that we wanted to. There's a carefulness to how they're putting these things out. That's been something like a theme, right? Okay, and right towards the end, I think the New Year, or even New Year's weekend, or the week of New Year's, so New Year's Eve, and that's the fake New Year's Eve, by the way. That's the January 1st New Year's. I guess New Year's Eve would be December 31st, but that's not the real New Year's. In my opinion, the real New Year's would be spring, would be April Fool's Day, actually. We all got fooled when the real New Year's is. But anyway, towards the end of that, and just before I come back, it looks like there's some really big, exciting thing that they've been carefully bringing out. It looks secret related as well. And they've been bringing it out slowly, but we get a really big drop then. So that's exciting there. It might be related to, it could be related to ET, alien, otherworldly, or this could have something to do with the three-eye atlas. So again, three-eye atlas is going to be the closest to Earth that it gets, apparently, or as far as we know so far anyway, tomorrow. So tomorrow's this big energy day, but I feel like, no, like you don't see too much about it, right? I feel like that could take a few days or weeks to really see any shift around that, and it feels more energetic. Okay, and it feels more emotional. And I did get this when I was looking at it with Jean-Claude. There's going to be a big emotional surge in our energy that is coming from that entity being close to our world. Okay, we're not sure exactly how the world is. I'm not sure. Is that thing coming dimensionally in? Or is it in fact literally coming from outer space? Because I'm not sure exactly how things work, right? I'm not tied to the idea that it literally space is the way that we're told, or that NASA says it is. Anyway, so I'm being creative with the language on purpose because I'm trying to stay open and flexible, because that's what we all got to be doing here. Open and flexible, guys. All right. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. And I'm going to send everybody an app, like send in your ravens for sure. And a Merry Christmas to everybody if you celebrate that season. And also have a really wonderful solstice. That's coming right up too. Take so much care, and we'll see you when I get back in January. Don't forget, you can find me at tarotbyjanine.com.
With Venezuela. That's not what happened on the announcement last night. And a few people felt that perhaps there was a bit of a bait and switch type of strategy there used on them. So we'll get into that. But at the very least here, we're also seeing all of this weird financial stuff that's happening in the background, to where the pricing mechanism for both gold and silver appear to have been broken. We appear to be in brand new territory. And that could suggest big ramifications here on the financial system, just as we enter next week here into the holiday season. So crazy stuff you and I need to look at tonight. So I think what I'd like you to do is start with, maybe if you want to do a 7-card pull, and just look at the next 2 weeks here, because the Beyond a Mystic team of collaborators and content creators, for the most part, are all taking a little bit of a time off here for the holidays to spend with their friends and loved ones. So we're going to be a little bit more sparse in terms of news coverings. Now, Janine and I will do some shows here and there. And of course, as always, if things go absolutely crazy, we'll pop in and do some impromptu shows. But please note that as of December 22nd here up until January 4, for the most part here, the team will be taking some well-deserved time off as well. So I want you to give, for the audience members here, perhaps this 2-week arc of energies here of what we can expect from now until the end of December.
So we've got a 10 here. A 10 is an ending. That's a facade ending. And it's the past leading us to where we're sitting right now. And it is, in a way, we have ended a lot of facades, at least this community. Like just the fact that, I was just thinking about this earlier today, the fact that in a retweeted post, Trump actually let the words, would you be okay with a military tribunal? Or I forget how the words went, but basically retweeted something that was asking if how you feel about military tribunals. Like there's so much that's ended like we're pretty sure now, if we've been watching and paying attention, even if you're the biggest skeptic in this group, you probably pretty sure that Q's real and White Hat Alliance exist on some level. And there's something's back there doing something. Something's going on, and it's not exactly what it appears. Let's say that. And then, of course, all the psyops we've gotten so fast at noticing what's going on with psyops. They don't even last out the day anymore, and they've been completely taken apart, shot for shot, and the truthers get on there and show you, hey, this couldn't have happened this way. And so at least we know they're not reporting things properly. The least we know. Okay, so that feels like that's where we got here to this place where nothing like the facade of what our life was like is definitely ended. We're not in that la la land anymore for sure. We're long past that. We know nothing's what we thought it was. Now we've got this 8 of Swords. So the 8 of Swords is we know all of these things aren't what we thought they were. We have ideas about what could be going on. We don't know for sure. We've been trying to, decode it for years. This card tells me it's kind of a big look, I think, just where we're sitting, where there's all of these things, but they're not officially known. And therein lies a lot of our frustration in this community, right? We officially want to know there has been military tribunals. If there has been, we want to know that. We want to know if those Epstein files exist, and because people are trying to tell us they don't now, and then B, what the heck, who like, is somebody going to get arrested for this? Like, meanwhile, there's people walking around, and maybe even potentially our politicians who are really implicated in that, information of, if it's true, which we believe it is, so there's all of these things, and we're kind of just waiting for this stuff to become publicly known. We've had like these carrot dangles, like what happened last night, with disclosure, and we haven't got the disclosure we wanted, right? We're just not getting it yet. Okay, so we're kind of sitting right there. Now we've got this 8 of Pentacles here, 6 of Pentacles. That's a goes around, comes around in the near future, but it also can talk about a bit of a nothing burger as far as the Epstein. I feel like this is the Epstein files. I feel like somehow that gets kicked down a bit too. And I was getting that even a few months ago when they first said, or I guess it's been a month ago now, tomorrow, when they first said it was coming out in 30 days. We looked at it, Jean-Claude, and I'm pretty sure I got February for a lot of this stuff we're waiting for.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't think it'll all happen before Christmas. Things are happening, but
just to take a quick pause on that too. If the indication that Dan Bongino is going back to his private life here, a podcaster, means anything, it could be relating to exactly that. Because again, he was a big proponent of justice on this particular front. He seemed to be at odds with the president and the presidency over the last couple of months. And if this file is coming out tomorrow and is somewhat of a, not necessarily a nothing burger, but not exactly what everybody expects, we could understand why perhaps then Bongino wants to maybe extricate himself from that and maybe go back in a different direction. So you had looked at that last night on the pay-per-view show, and they appear to be related to at least some degree. So again, suggesting we might be disappointed, or at least our community might be disappointed tomorrow with some of that news, or the lack thereof is more to the point. Janine, keep going.
This card's kind of a charity card, so they're going to give us something, but not as, we don't get the full share, right? So they're passing out charities. It'll feel like we're getting something, but not the big dish we're looking for.
Right.
Okay, now here we've got the moon. So the hidden influence is the moon. So still deep secrets, deep hidden things. Lots of people not alive anymore that are pretending to be alive. I think there's lots of people we think are gone, but they're not. Like we could talk about that for hours. This is an interesting card. So the thing about who's really gone and who isn't is really interesting. I feel like that could be a big reveal that happens, because this is the theater card. I feel like it's big theater, who's gone and who isn't. Like they're showing these supposed deaths, but are they dying the way they're saying they're dying? Like, for instance, Rob Reiner, what's really going on there, and who's really gone and who's really not. I feel like that something, a reveal around that could be that's going to be really exciting, because this card here says, yeah, there's something coming out around someone's here that we thought was gone, and there's probably people we thought were gone or actually still around. So there's, I don't know which direction it'll go, maybe both, but some of those reveals coming. So that's exciting. Also, the magician and the moon card right next to each other. This is the hidden influence. So maybe some reveals around what really is the moon. We've been talking about that for years now. And we haven't directly to the public got what really the moon is. We haven't got that out. We haven't even got exactly what it is. We just jab around at, it could be this. Maybe it's that, you know what I mean? But we don't know exactly what it is. So I feel like some reveals coming around what's out there, what we call the moon, what really is it, but also some of this theater about who died and who didn't, I feel like could be revealed. Some famous people being still here and some gone, that we thought, the other way around. So here we've got the Page of Swords and an ace. So there's a child card and an infant card. So reveals around children and infants. And that has been just on the edge of things. Even that thing with Rob Reiner that came out about that comedian talking about what his dad did, just in graphic details. Like listening to it hurts my heart.
Oh yeah, it gets under your skin. It's crazy.
And everyone's laughing. It's like, how are you laughing at that?
A joke.
Okay. And then a whole bunch more videos came out about comedians laughing about stuff like that. They've raked a lot of people over the goal. So they're all in it. So there's this big club and they're in it. You know what I mean? I feel like maybe some reveals around that. So we've just got a whole lot of reveals here. And in a way, it's a lot of success here, but it's the problem is I'm not seeing the real carrot we're looking for, like the real juice on the Epstein Island and what really went on there. And I'm not seeing that. And that's where we're going to be a little leery. There's wins, but we're going to still be a little leery because the really big reveals are not coming. Yeah.
Okay. Don't move the card. I know you said this on the show yesterday, and a lot of people took offense to that. I'm like, well, I'm just reading from the cards. It looks a little bit disappointing here in terms of the justice we're looking for and all that. Nevertheless, what you're seemingly saying either way, even if it's not maybe as big as we would want on some of these fronts or many of these fronts, it appears you're still suggesting that it's an end of a facade. So there's still enough of it to end some type of facade here. Okay. Yeah. So I'll take that as a win. I mean, for most of our communities, I think we can take that as a win. But don't move here, because in the middle with the moon card, you went to, perhaps we have declaration of what the moon truly is, and we have a better understanding, all that too. There's a magician card in there. Now, let me tie this into 3i Atlas, because I said at the beginning of the show, there's a lot of things that are supposed to happen in the next 24, 48 hours here. Everything seemed to have been converging at the same time. One of them was this closest approach to 3i Atlas. So I might have you reshuffle, but just leave them there for now. I want to show you this article. So Cliff retweeted this earlier today. He says, it looks like someone is building a Stargate-style transport portal. Now, if you had been following Cliff High since July or maybe August, I think by the time August came around on his Substack, he has suggested that this 3i Atlas could be bringing some type of self-replicating technology further away from where it comes from in order to create just that, a portal, so that wherever it comes from now doesn't have to do that long-term trajectory, that they could just jump over there to over here. And this is just an automated thing that's building a network or a highway of sorts. That was one of the hypotheses that Cliff had brought in. And just now in the last couple of days, these pictures are coming out suggesting there's this weird black hole or dark region in 3i Atlas right now. And so again, we have to come back and say, what the hell is this thing? It's just doing everything opposite our normal understanding of comets would do. Not necessarily proof that they're aliens, but every day there's all these things that are anomalous, and at least making us think that maybe this is something we haven't encountered before. We have to at least be intellectually honest enough to admit that. But this whole thing about the moon, the revelation, the magician card, could that be related to whatever 3i Atlas is doing too, maybe that's connecting to the moon too? Do you want to do clarifiers or a whole other pull? What do you see? What do you think?
I'm going to clarify it there with those two.
Okay.
So we've got the Four of Cups here. Okay, so while we're looking at 3i Atlas, wow, that almost feels like some of what 3i Atlas is going to do is going to keep our attention over here while something else totally different happens over here.
And
So
is there something else, a war? Military action?
that is kind of a warring card. We
Yeah.
need to be careful that we're not bedazzled by like pictures like that. I was like, whoa, because it
Yeah.
looks like a jewel, first of all.
Yeah.
And so what really is happening with it and what we're being presented, I feel like we probably still need to be very discerning. And also, I always get a lot of these emotional cards around it. I feel like there's a real emotional shift coming for humanity with this thing getting closer to Earth and just being in our, I guess, atmosphere, if that's where it is. Like, so I'm not sure,
Right.
how, but if it's around us energetically and we're talking about it and it's in our world already in a way, because a lot of people are talking about it. There's lots of images out there. With all of that kind of focus, I feel like there's something, it's affecting us already, but it's more of an emotional effect.
Huh. More of an emotional effect. Okay. I want you to do a 3-card pull because I want a little bit more clarity on this, at least a portal thing. So what you're saying now is that it could be a distraction, but you're not necessarily getting that there's no portal being created either here. So I want just a little bit more clarity there. And I want to bring that into the context with the 2 shows that you and I were talking about, I believe on the Monday night or the Wednesday night pay-per-view, which is this brand new show or movie coming out next June, Disclosure Day. And what's already out on Apple TV, this series called Pluribus. Both of them having to do with ET contact and humanity having to change or be upended completely here to address this new reality. So it shifts all of humanity into a different space. And many people, researchers were suggesting that maybe 3i Atlas would be, in fact, that catalyst for humanity. Now, whether or not we know that tomorrow because of its closest approach, or we have to wait till January or February because maybe mainstream and officialdom does not want yet to admit it to us. My question is here, is 3i Atlas a portal? And is it opening up something here that could lead humanity into a completely new reality? Let's just frame it that way for now. You could do a 3-card or you could do a Kashina knife, whatever you think is best.
Okay. Well, it's something like that. See, that 2 of Pentacles is we're getting there. We're not all the way there yet. I used to get this card when I asked if the earth was round or flat. It's something different than they're saying, but maybe not exactly what you just described. And we've got the Strength card there. So that it's something powerful and certainly not to be poo-pooed away or like some people totally dismiss it. Definitely not. And it's certainly not a comet. So it's something, and it has a powerful effect here. It's very unique to anything we've ever experienced. So it's not anything that's happened in our, lifetimes, but maybe the lifetime of the planet.
Yeah.
Now we've got the Hanged Man in the middle. So there's an enlightenment. Okay, this is interesting. So this is the regular folks kind of placement card. What do they know about it? Well, they don't know too much about it, right? They're hearing little snippets, and my son's heard about it, and he doesn't watch videos like this, but he's heard about it on TikTok, and lots of social medias are talking about it. So he's heard a little bit about it, but I bet you like my sisters that are more my age, they probably know nothing about it. Do you know what I mean? So they're largely in the dark. Okay, but it feels like how it'll affect those people is there's a quickening. Okay, in so just it being here, so it's got this unique ability to somehow open them up to more truths. So it seems to bring a shift. Yeah, a quickening. That's my quickening card. There's a quickening to their ability to understand things, maybe that they otherwise we find it hard to explain to these people.
Right.
I feel like it actually opens them up and lets them see beyond their limitations. So it's bringing and so portal in a way, maybe energetically, it's creating a portal to help those people bridge their inability to see,
Right.
and opens that up. So somehow it seems to open people up and help them. So especially the ones resisting.
So it's kind of a yes, but not necessarily in the context of opening up a portal or a stargate to another dimension to have reinforcement or galactic traffic, or maybe it's both.
I just asked for further sort of description of what it's doing.
Yeah.
This is interesting. So this is a healing card. It's very healing and there's a high spiritual element to it. And there's a blending to it, but it's the opposite of the tower. You know how the tower is like a revelation and it hits you like a ton of bricks. It's really uncomfortable. And this is more of a soft, where you're being healed into knowing something.
Okay.
Okay. And it might even be working with the sun's rays to do its work.
Wow. Okay. Because the sun is often referred to as a portal itself. That's interesting. Or it might be tying into that energy. Okay. Okay.
Utilizing it with it, because this card blends.
Wow.
The nickname for this card is abracadabra, so it's like a blending.
Yeah. Fascinating. Okay, I don't want to dive too deep on that. Dive too deep on that. We've of course been talking about it since July, and we'll continue looking at it as more information comes up. But that's interesting, to say the least. So thank you, Janine, for that. Let me go back to the live chat here and say thank you. 2 super chats in the queue right now. The first one is from Sid6823. Hi, Janine and JC. Old from the beginning, they mean IAP member. I just want to say thank you for all that you're doing. Love from Denmark. Well, thank you. Gratitudes to Denmark. Thank you so much. And the next one here is from Gemma Castildia. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Thank you, Jason, Janine. You have both been a heaven sent, especially in the last 4 or 5 years. Merry Christmas to you both. And good rest to the Beyond Mystic crew and team. Your families, Gemma. Thank you so much, Gemma. I really appreciate that. It's really cool. I apologize. It's hard to read the small print on that little screen for me. But anyways, thank you for all those beautiful comments and the donation, of course. Very much appreciated. Now, let's get back stateside. We looked at the ETs there, but Trump just declassified marijuana. So basically, he's moving it from the Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3 drug, placing it in the same category as Tylenol and codeine. This is going to have big ramifications for the judicial system, the incarceration system, a lot of people in jail for possessing here or distributing this. So big changes are coming because of that. Now, here in Canada, Justin Trudeau made his legacy part on that here too, legalizing marijuana in Canada. So far, as a Canadian, as a father, I can't really say that it's been a great success, in the sense that I feel that everywhere I look, the teens everywhere are, smoking this stuff, maybe not paying attention to school. It might be creating more issues with them with PTSD, or not PTSD, but ADHD. So I'm not sure it's a good thing. In one hand, it does bring a lot of health benefits on its own as a natural plant when used correctly as a plant medicine. That is not what happened here in Canada. Most of the production of this went through government authorized dealers to where they manipulated the formula to an extent that perhaps those benefits of which I spoke might not be as present as we would like. So personally, not a big fan in Canada. Don't think this is a big success for Canada, generally speaking. And I would rather say it was detrimental to Canada. My personal opinion. Janine, you can share yours or not. But here now Trump is playing a very similar move in the United States. Is this a big distraction? Get everybody drunk and high while something else is happening? Why does he need to do this? And again, just looking at what happened in Canada, I could see how, at least being fair to people and not putting them in jail for smoking a joint, I get that part. But the damage that has also caused to most of the population who didn't smoke pot in Canada before it was legalized and now are all hooked on it and maybe not as contributing to society as they would have been without this drug being legalized, I don't know that it was worth it. I don't want to open that debate here tonight, but you guys can say what you want. I have my opinion. You guys have yours. Everybody's allowed to have their opinion. But why now, Janine? Let's do a first poll to see why this strategy is being put up now. It's not, as far as I know, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but throughout the whole campaign last year and this year in office, it was more about income tax. It was more about trade deficit. It was about building the economy, jobs, security, North security, and of course, all of these tariffs to make America rich again. That's what he campaigned on. I don't remember him legalizing or wanting to legalize marijuana as being a plank of his campaign. Maybe it was, and I just didn't read the fine print. Do you remember that, Janine, at all?
No, but like somebody said in the comment, they didn't make it legal in the US, or he's not saying he's going to make it legal. They're just going to take it down.
Declassifying it from class 1 to class 3. There are still some restrictions in class 3. I totally get that.
Yeah.
But it's making it a step closer. Maybe not as far as Canada went. I get that. Maybe he just wants to address the part to where there's a lot of people in jail for this, for even smoking it or holding it, that just is putting too much strain on the system. It's just not fair anymore. Maybe that's all he wants to do. I don't know. Well, do we want to play the clip? Because there's a clip attached to him too. Maybe we'll get a sense of why, if we can parse his words. Okay, let me go back to the other slide deck for the audio. Yes. Maybe we'll get a clue there, but we'll still come back to the cards here because I'm interested specifically of the why now. Okay, so let's play this.
At the same time, the facts compel the federal government to recognize that marijuana can be legitimate in terms of medical applications when carefully administered. In some cases, this may include the use as a substitute for addictive and potentially lethal opioid painkillers. They cause tremendous problems. This can do it in a much lesser way, can make people feel much better and are living through tremendous pain and problems. 40 states and multiple U.S. territories have already recognized the use of medical marijuana. This reclassification order will make it far easier to conduct marijuana-related medical research, allowing us to study benefits, potential dangers, and future treatments. It's going to have a tremendously positive impact, I believe. We're also asking Congress to reconsider its classification of hemp-derived CBD to ensure seniors can access CBD products they have found beneficial for pain and other reasons. Some people are literally dying, and they're dying with tremendous pain, and this can, in many cases, literally stop it. And they have their senses about them, as opposed to painkillers, which don't allow that, don't allow them to die with dignity, frankly. I promise to be the president of common sense, and that is exactly what we're doing. This is really something having to do with common sense. And it's something having to do with the fact that so many people that I respect ask me to, people that are having problems, big problems. They are having big problems with illness, with cancer in particular. I now want to ask Dr. Oz to say a few words, followed by Dr. Braun, Dr. Casseret.
Okay, so his angle, at least there in that speech, is about the health benefits. And again, I preempted this by saying, yeah, if it's used correctly, if the molecules are not changed, if the formula and the creation of it is not changed, there's benefit there to that plant medicine. But that's a slippery slope, because that's kind of how they started the debate here in Canada towards legalization for that same thing. At first, it was the medically available, and then that was the stepping stone to legalizing it too. So let's keep with our first question. Why now? Distraction. Is it this really the intention and it stops there? Or is there something else completely, from left field that we're not seeing here as to why he's putting this forward at this time?
They might have, there might be something that could, like something in the past's been discovered about it that could radically change maybe people's lives. And it's been hidden. So I don't think it's something that's in use in Canada. Maybe they're not using it properly here. They turned it into, so it looked good on Trudeau, but they turned it into a big money machine for the government. The government took over all the production and put it, so of course they added all these additives and turned it into their, like a big money maker. And there's a pot store on every corner in cities, like worse than liquor stores. Yeah. But anyway, so it looks like, see this card in the past. So there's some kind of big revelation that's been already happened in the past about it. Okay. And it feels like it's definitely he's doing this as a gift to people. It's a gift to people, and I do think they'll use it responsibly, or that's the intention.
Okay.
So it looks like he's building up outing. Maybe there's a procedure or way to use it or utilize it. And it does look like it's to do with physical health, medical. I know that my brother, when he was in really late stages of his turbo cancer, he microdosed, I can't remember exactly, it was a pot related product, and a mushroom product as well. And that was what kept, he didn't take any of the meds they were trying to give him, and he was in a lot of pain when he wasn't doing that. And this did seem to really help him. But anyway, this looks like he's doing it for a good reason. And it's because they know something, and they're going to use it in a way that could be a big, shocking revelation to the good.
So it seems to me, at least, by the cards that you're pulling, that Mr. Trump is not going in the same direction that Trudeau and Canada went with this. He's really looking at something beneficial from the health aspect of it.
Yeah, those two are what he's doing with it.
Yeah,
it's definitely, he knows something more than maybe he's saying
right
about it. And this card can be like, there's a congruent emotional energy to this card when it's well aspected.
Right.
And so he knows something about, so I feel like it does relate to pain relief and keeping people in a good place. It could even have something to do with mental health to the positive. And I know sometimes the way they use pot and the way it's been manipulated, it's bad for your mental health. It can actually get you really anxious when.
Oh, the kids in Canada are very anxious. That's what all the school principals and teachers are saying. They're all on pot. They're anxious. They have ADHD in more volume than they did before. So that's why I was like, okay, we have to be serious about this.
So it's
what
going
was-
the other direction. It's going the
Yeah.
other direction. Yeah.
What's interesting, because you brought up your brother and the cancer, in the context of MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, a lot of researchers are expecting some type of turn of event to where confidence in the medical system is deteriorated somehow. We're already seeing it because of the big reversals on COVID, the fact that they told us it was safe and effective. And now, of course, the FDA is putting warnings on packets about, heart conditions and all that stuff. But is it possible here that Trump is setting up something with this that is going to be announced later on in the medical field to where all the chemotherapy is going to be outed for what it is and how ineffective it is, and that there's something related to marijuana here that could be used? I don't want to say the word cure, but maybe as a treatment of sorts, and that's what he's setting up here somehow.
I'd say yes.
Wow.
Soft yes. And we got the Trump card. So bringing something out in the open, but it's already in the past was discovered, and it's just not been put out in the open yet.
Okay. Good news, I guess. We'll keep our eyes on that one. Thank you, Janine. If you want to shuffle, we'll get to the next segment. I'm going to play this clip here, too. This is breaking news here about the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, releasing here hundreds of bombshell Russiagate documents again, pointing to Barack Obama personally here, having ordered the CIA to manufacture false intel on President Trump. Now, ostensibly, we've been hearing this all year, Janine, and you and I were a little bit frustrated. I think it was as early as maybe February or March of this year. We're like, why are you leading with all these things? Why don't you just start with the indictment? Like, we've been hearing this, we've got new evidence, we got this, we got that. But okay, how about we get to the next step? And typically, these agencies and jurisdictional procedures don't let it out of the bag that they're working on this and they have evidence. They accumulate, and when they're ready, they think their case is strong, bang, they go and arrest somebody and they get to the next step. Here, we're just getting this long, lingering drip drop of Obama's responsible for something. Of course, President Trump is trolling Barack Obama this week by changing the little plaque underneath his portrait in the White House. Let's play the clip, and then I'll try to formulate a question for you to see if this is part of the frustration that you were picking up in the cards that would be associated here for the month of December.
News alert: the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, releasing a bombshell report today that shows a conspiracy by a sitting president, Barack Obama, and his intel agencies to sabotage the president-elect, Donald Trump, brainwash the electorate, and undermine the legitimacy of an election.
There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true. It wasn't.
Gabbard got her hands on a House intel report that's been locked away in a CIA vault for almost a decade. Investigators spent over 2,000 hours looking into how the Russia hoax was born, interviewing 20 CIA and FBI officials. And it turns out that the Obama administration doctored the intelligence to make it look like Putin and Trump stole the election.
So my point with all this is they appear to be trying him in public as opposed to trying Barack Obama in the justice system. What the hell's going on, Gene? Big distraction? What's this whole strategy being played out here? Why are we retreating to this, again, this long-winded? Nothing is really kind of getting to the justice part, I think, is how most of the viewers would say it. Yeah, people are saying, yeah, we're over this movie, JC. Yeah, I know. I'm with you on that one.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got the Fool and the Devil. So 2 major arcanas. So whatever it is, this feels distracting to me. This card's like a distraction. I feel like they're going to talk about Obama, and then strike and arrest somebody else.
You got that last week for something under poll. So they're like doing us bait and they're keeping us on our toes, just like Trump was doing yesterday. Oh, we're going to talk about the war in Venezuela, and then no, he's just talking about his first term. Yeah. Okay. So switcheroo.
Yeah, and it's part of the war.
Yeah. Somebody says, Savage on paper. I've never had movie fatigue before now. Yeah, so we all got movie fatigue.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're not getting ready to get clarity on this. This is just another distraction of many here to keep us kind of like confused as to what the next steps are. So really, it's not about confusing us. It's about confusing the deep state.
Yeah.
Like that's Trump's at it again. Like, again, I don't fault him for that. But for the people who are awake, I'd say, okay, stop listening and tell your friends who are not awake, who are just like grinding on all these little pieces now and like, having hissy fits, just tell them, like, guys, like, step back, way back, and look at the big picture. Like, all right, so let's talk about looking at the big picture. Ray Dalio, looking at the big picture here, and you and I, of course, we don't give financial advice. We've talked about finance for a number of years, just trying to decode it, just trying to see if we can get information that was non-local, that was not necessarily perpetrated by the mainstream financial media, just so that we'd have a better shot at navigating all this personally and collectively. And part of the thing we've been saying for the longest time is that when we were seeing the mainstream media talking about these boom bust echo cycles, you and I were like, no, that's not what this is. And these guys are either not intelligent enough to see it, or they're lying to you straight to your face. This is a complete changeover. Whatever you want to talk about the fourth turning, or in the sense that of Ray Dalio saying this today, he's saying it's not a recession which is going to hit the US and the world, but a total breakdown of monetary systems. We're moving into brand new territory, multipolar world of currencies, and this has been in play now for decades. And for those who had the eyes to see, they had a chance to prepare and disintermediate themselves from the old systems and hopefully start, landing their feet on the other side before this whole thing transpires. I believe we're in the transpire right now. We've been in that period of time for a moment, but now this part, at least of the narrative or the explanation that you and I have been trying to convey with the cards over the last couple of years is coming out in the mainstream. So let's just see how they're framing it now, and then we'll do a pulse check on where we are in that transition phase. Okay, Janine, so if you want to reshuffle, I'll play the clip and come right back to you.
I think that right now we are at a decision-making point and very close to a recession. And I'm worried about something worse than a recession if this isn't handled well. A recession is 2 negative quarters of GDP, and whether it goes slightly there, we always have those things. We have something that's much more profound. We have a breaking down of the monetary order. We are going to change the monetary order because we cannot spend the amounts of money, so we have that problem. And when we talk about the dollar and we talk about tariffs, we have that. We are having a profound changes in our domestic order, how ruling is existing, and we're having profound changes in the world order. Such times are very much like the 1930s. I've studied history, and this repeats over and over again. So if you take tariffs, if you take debt, if you take the rising power challenging the existing power, if you take those factors and look at the factors, those changes in the orders, the systems, are very, very disruptive. How that's handled could produce something that is much worse than a recession.
Okay. He's getting very close to saying the words that we've been saying for years now. And with respect to Mr. Dalio, he's been on this beat for a while, and mainstream news doesn't always want to repeat what he's saying, but I think he's been at this for a while. Now he's being let say that here on Meet the Press, presumably to educate the public. And like Andy Schectman said in the show last time he was on, I think it was on the Beyond the Vault series, he said, when they say what's really happening, it's already too late. The big guys have already made their positions, and the rest of us are just going to suffer the consequences of not having known this or not having prepared. And if you look at what's happening in the bullion market this year, clearly a lot of people were front running the trade of what this guy just explained, right? So let me go back to my first question, Janine. Where are we on that process of this profound fundamental breakage here of the monetary system and the introduction of this new multipolar world? Are we here for December for that? Do we still have to wait now, maybe to January or February? If you look at silver right now, gold, we're in brand new territories. It appears that the price mechanisms have been broken. And it also appears that with the news that JP Morgan went long 750 million ounces of silver here 2 weeks ago, leaving all the shorts behind with the other banks, it seems like it's all every man for himself, and that we're now, in a way, having the banks support the longs in silver and gold right now. So brand new world. We've never been here before. Let's take a pulse as to how this looks like, what the transition looks like, what the audience needs to know, and if there's any actionable intelligence here to navigate all this.
It's definitely already broken, just like that guy, like you said, if the guy's talking about it breaking, it already broke. And Andy Schectman saying, and we've been saying, right? So it's already broken. So 10, so that's a surrender. Just look at that card. So that already happened. Okay, now the ace is we're about to hear about the new. And I think that'll happen between now and February or the end of February. We're about to hear about the new system, which has already been created and probably working alongside the old one for a long time. We've got the emperor, so it does feel like Trump's going to lead the way with the new. So somehow he's largely involved. I always got that the Trump team and the White Hat Alliance, this was their baby. This was something they really want to leave the world with. Yeah. So hidden influence is going to have a lot to do with either tribunals knowing about them or justice being served. We might even see big banks and bankers getting called to justice. We might even see big disruptions with banking systems being found to be, all of their illegal activities being spread out in the open, something like that. I feel like that'll be a big part of it, is where the banking system itself gets really shown to the public as what a scam it is.
Gold hit 4,400 in the futures, brand new all-time highs. Silver hitting all-time highs. It almost hit $67 yesterday. This is up 130% in the year. Crazy numbers right now. Like we're in new territories, and what we're seeing is dramatically resembles what Clefai was predicting almost now 15 years ago would happen with silver and this multipolar world. We seem to be there, Janine. Keep going with that bottom row, and the card for the cards. Yeah.
So we've got the 8 of Cups here and the Moon. So this is something to take note of. Okay, this is a walking away. So walk away from. So it's really important to walk away from the old system because it's already dead. So if you're still playing with dollars, okay, I feel like you're going to hurt. If all your savings are in dollars in a bank, and I'm not saying every bank will go down or anything like that, but I feel like you're somehow in harm's way. And that's not financial advice from me. I'm just telling you what the cards are saying. So it's saying walk away from something that's already died. Let it go. Let go of that old system. Look at new ways. Think about trades. Think about, like I was just talking to a guy that built my deck actually, And funny thing, we got on the topic of silver and gold, and it turns out him and his partner who build together, they have a building company. They actually have a gold mine somewhere in northern Alberta. I didn't ask them where exactly, and I doubt if they'd have told me. And they said everybody's trying to get it. Like, they haven't really worked it for quite a while, but they're really excited about the future of metals. They're big silver stackers. Like I said, so if I wanted work in the future, would you trade? Because I got silver too. And they're like, oh, we'd absolutely trade. Yeah. So like, I feel like we are going into all new territory, and people in the know, they're going to work differently. Things are going to happen differently. This card says we're at the end of the illusion that somehow that paper is worth anything. You know what I mean? We're at the end of 2 10s on either side here. So the things, like, there's no rebooting it. It's already gone. It's really about getting involved in a new way to create things. I mean, just my jewelry collection alone, I should be okay, actually.
I think so, Janine. Speaking of illusions, Joe Tanby, QFS is running beside the old system, and the FO is saying that we'll see the new system reveal in January. Next weekend, the weekend after, and the next month, and I've been hearing this for a decade. I would say that there's very little evidence that there's a QFS system running in the background, but yet there's fingerprints of everything else happening in the background. The countries are de-dollarizing. They're setting up their own gold, physical silver and gold exchanges. JP Morgan's gold desk is moving in the East in January. We're seeing a lot of legislations around the world to reclassify gold and silver as legal tender. We're seeing Trump say now that you can pay your taxes with Bitcoin without having to pay capital gains taxes on your Bitcoin increase and net gains. Crazy stuff that we're seeing. That we could say that's happening. This whole QFS thing is, and the weight 800 numbers that are coming up every weekend, we don't see that. All I see is people repeating that every week, but I don't see anything tangible of that. And that suggests also that there's going to be this ubiquitous distribution to where everybody's a millionaire and everybody's debts are absolved and the debt jubilee and all that. Again, don't see any evidence of that. What I'm seeing is a whole bunch of countries creating their own currencies, their own new payment systems outside of the US dollar complex. And we're seeing the United States having to compete now in that world. And the tariffs are a big part of that strategy for Mr. Trump, as well as the Bitcoin strategic reserve, as well as him wanting to bring refineries back into the United States. That we can see, we can point to, we can see all these news items coming up, and we can make at least informed decisions on actual things, as opposed to a bunch of people saying that something new is coming out that's going to save your life next weekend and you don't have to do anything. The White Hats have it all. I don't like to get into that. It's very frustrating, to me anyways. But having said that, Janine, anything you want to add on that with respect to the cards here and maybe how to navigate all of this?
Well, we got these two on the bottom here. So this is a unique card that says defend your uniqueness. There's a lot of sovereign energy to this. When you got wands like that, if this was like, there's another deck that I love to use sometimes. And the 7 of Wands has the symbol of Sagittarian on it. And I think it's Mars in Sag. And so there's a real Sagittarian's a fire sign, but they never conform to systems. In fact, to be a good Sagittarian, you need to learn. You're learning how to create your own way of being in the world, totally beat to your own drum. And that's what that card's all about. It's almost like a Robin Hood card. Okay, so this card's like, I feel like there's going to be an adjustment over time where it's not just going to be 1% with all the wealth. And this whole new thing coming in is going to help create that. Yeah. It's going to be distributed more correctly. Like, it was never meant to be that we were hijacked and that's what happened.
So
Like, yeah, we're going to distribute wealth differently. Like, we're all going to have it more available by being able to manifest easier, like using our intuition, getting out of system jobs, like just using our common sense and imagination again.
So, yeah, just to be clear, you've repeated this so many times on the show. There's going to be some type of leveling of the playing field, or at least at the rules level. But you are the sovereign being that has to learn to create for yourself, to be sovereign, to be independent, and to be wealthy. Janine is not saying that you should wait for somebody else to make a decision to make you whole, perhaps sometime later down the line. She's saying you have to work to create that. There is things happening in the background that could at least level up the playing field so that you're able to do that for yourself, but you yourself have to make that happen. You cannot wait for somebody else to make that happen for you. Am I correct? Again, we get a lot of flack on this stuff, Janine, because people hear the first part. Oh, no, see, she said it's going to be distributed, JC. Like, I don't have to do anything. It's going to be fine later on. No, that's not what Janine said. Janine, anything else?
Yeah. So, and this card here, getting out there and not being afraid to go in unique and new directions. Like not being afraid to look outside the box in the way you like talking a trade. Don't be afraid to talk to somebody. You want to buy their property, talk trade with them. You want to buy, you know what I mean? Like we're going to have to talk differently and be braver. And like exactly what you said, creating your own like brave new world.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when you see that I don't even think it's at the rules level, although it might translate to the rules level. I think the up-leveling is happening from an energetic perspective. There's a global consciousness that's raising. We're getting more energies from space. The planet itself is voting on how its resources are going to be used. And so the old game, from that perspective, the energy doesn't support that anymore. So just that, it means that the energy doesn't support that. It supports the sovereignty of the individual beings on the planet, but it's up to those sovereign beings to make their abundance come true now, because there's not the impediment of the old system that was working very hard to prevent that. That's very different than saying that, oh, there's this magical thing here that all the elites around the world don't want you to know about, but they're about to distribute everything to everybody equally. That hasn't happened on this planet for the history of this planet. So again, maybe not hold your breath for it. You can if you want to. Again, not financial advice, but maybe you want to have a contingency plan. I think is what we're saying. The sovereign part of it is the big thing there. You really need to get your mind on creating your own abundance and bringing your frequency in line with that energy of the planet that is no longer conducive to these old guys and these old bankers, these parasitic forms taking from everyone on the planet. That is ending. I agree with that. Phil Christopher, again, holy crap, man. Thank you. Another $100 donation. Really appreciated that. Question there. Dear Jason, Janine, what did the card say about Nancy Pelosi going to jail for insider trading? That's a nice one. Let's do an update on that. I don't think you and I have read on that before, Janine. Good question. No. Thank you, Phil Christopher. And again, thank you for that amazing and very generous donation. Thank you. Yeah, the no income tax is a good start, but not here yet. It's been promised quite a bit. No tax on tip was a promise, but then we realized that it was no tax on tip to a certain amount, remember? And then it was no tax on overtime, and then it was, well, no tax on overtime to a certain amount, and then there's tax, right? So we're not there yet to the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no income tax. Not there yet. They are talking about it, going in the great direction, but again, don't hold your breath on these things. Create your own abundance. Find new ways, as Janine was saying, to create that for yourself.
I think she's already gone. So they're saying, yeah, will she get?
Well, okay, let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
In the public view, are they going to use this as an opportunity? I know this person's dealt with, we've looked at this many times before, but at least for the normies out there to see some type of justice, at the very least from the insider trader aspect of what she was perhaps involved with.
Yeah.
So it's a yes.
Yeah, that looks good. Like when you said it that way, I pulled two more
Okay.
from the deck, because all of this is basically saying, okay, she's not even here anymore. And yeah.
Okay. If you're just joining us now, you're probably saying, what are you guys talking about? Well, I got to watch more shows. And
She's long gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or she might have been rounded up on January 6th, that situation, that shenanigans.
Yeah. All right.
This is justice, and that's a really good affirmative card. So
Yeah. Joe 10B, JC, I think you'll be shocked when the new QFS is revealed. Yeah, I'll be shocked and pleasantly surprised. But in the meantime, I will have worked to create that for myself, and it'll be a bonus. And so that's my point. So if it does, of course, we'll be shocked. We'll be pleasantly surprised. I'm just saying, don't hold your breath and perhaps get another plan. All I'm saying, could be possible. What do I know? I don't know anything. So maybe it's out there. I'm just saying, I've been hearing this for a long time. Anyways, Janine, let's move on. We have some gifts to give away. First one here, of course, is the Eucalyptus Retreat Salt Bath Soak. Question for the audience members tonight, Janine, to give this one away. What do you think?
what kind of mine did my carpenters say they had?
Oh, okay, that's a good one. So let me go back to the live chat. There you go. Guys, while we wait for that to populate, please join us in supporting the lovely and amazing Janine. You can get all the news here on a weekly basis at tarotbyjanine.com for about the price of a cup of coffee, $4.99. You get monthly access there to all of those news items, as well as timely interviews, and also the Zodiac spread, which is a big feature here to help you navigate your world in a way. And of course, this is a big way to support Janine so that you can do more shows out here on different platforms for you guys. So please do go and support us there at tarotbyjanine.com, or make it a gift to one of your awakened friends and family, and perhaps those that are awakening now too, to get a little bit of heads up. They might want a subscription to Tarot by Janine. So please do go and check that out. Janine, let me go to the live chat here. Let me know when to stop the feed, and we'll pick a winner.
Stop.
There you go. Rosie Thorne. Man, feels like this person has won before. Congratulations, Rosie Thorne 8847. Go to beyondmystic.net, top of the page, fill out the tech support form there, and let us know you're the winner. We'll have Aline send you out this package for you guys. While you're there also, as we're talking about the economy, if you're looking at getting some silver while you still can, you might want to check out the silver form and the discounts offered to the Beyond Mystic audience by Miles Franklin. You'll see the button there. It'll go to beyondmystic.net/silver. And yeah, check it out. Crazy times. Metals are acting up very crazy. You might want to add that to your portfolio to diversify outside of the system and perhaps disintermediate yourself from everything that Janine just pulled in her cards have already crumbled in the past. We're just not told yet about, right? So you have decisions to make, or not. Up to you guys moving forward. Janine, we had a candle also. No, not a candle. Pyramid from Carlette Ascension Organites. This one here. You have a question for this one?
It's delicious looking.
Yeah. Do you want me to ask the question?
Yeah, you better ask the question.
What was suggested was being created by 3i Atlas and the dark spot at the beginning of the show? What was the word, one word, that might be being created by them here? While I do that, and I wait for that to populate also, I have a specific video, I think, from Carla. She made a little bit of announcement. Is this the same one? Maybe it's the same one, because I think her site is still 30% off for everything for holiday seasons. Let me bring up this video. Can you hear that, Janine? Did you hear that?
A little bit, not
Oh,
very
really?
loud.
No, eh? Okay, let me try to find that. For some reason it's not on my slide deck. Window? This one here. You should get this work. There you go. That's Carla. Okay, so let's try that again.
Hello, from Ascension Organized. I hope you're doing great. I wanted to hop on here really quickly to let you know that we are having the Magical Christmas sale over at AscensionOrganized.com, where the entire website is 30% off. No coupon needed. Just add your favorite item to the cart, and it would automatically be applied at checkout. This is valid until December 25th. And I also wanted to come on here to thank you so much for your support. Wish you a very, very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. Now back to the show. Hi.
How do you say in Spanish? Feliz Navidad. Thank you, Carla. I appreciate that. And thank you, everyone. And yes, so please go check out ascensionorganize.com, 30% off everything right now. And let me now go back to the mainstream so we can pick a winner on this channel. Yeah, on this one here. Janine, let me know when to stop the feed. And, oh, hold on. Let me get to the bottom first. For some reason, I wasn't at the bottom. There you go. Okay. Is that working? Yeah. Okay. Let me know when to stop the feed, Janine.
Stop.
10-7 United. Portal. Yeah. Congratulations. That's it. DartMouthState.net / just go to the tech support forum. Let us know you're the winner. Then we'll have that pyramid send out to you guys. Janine, you want to give something away to the Insider Access Pass too? Why not while we're there?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let me open up the Discord chat. You guys better be listening. If you're here on Rumble, Twitter, or YouTube, log into your Discord chat. Of course, IAP members have privileges. Let me go back and log in there. Do you have another question in mind, Janine, for the Discord chat?
Yeah. So I got a really good truther friend in Ireland, a fellow that I was also with on the truther tour the few days I was there in the US on that truther tour in 2022. Who is that person? And give us the first and last name.
So not the gentleman that came to the conference, our conference in Ottawa. You're talking about a different one.
He's a truther.
Okay.
And he lives in Ireland. And he's
Okay.
been on this show together with Jean-Claude and I.
Okay. I'm on the same page. So Jenny Ann is the first one with the correct answer in the Insider Access Pass.
Okay.
Of course, it's Mark Atwood. We're supposed to do a part 2 to that show the other day. We missed, I don't know, something happened on that Monday, and you and I missed the show.
Yeah.
So we'll have Mark back on. So Jenny Ann, thank you so much. She is a Insider Access Pass member of ours here at Beyond Mystic. Speaking of which, if you go to beyondmystic.net, top of the page, if you're interested in these shows, Janine and I do many of these shows here every week, and you can find them either on pay-per-view, episode per episode, or you can choose to support us by getting the whole pass and get access to everything. The difference between that is, of course, you can watch us live and ask questions during our live shows through the Discord chat. And again, helps us continue to create all of this amazing content for you guys. So please do go and check that out. Janine, let's do a quick what universe wants us to know, maybe heading into the holiday season before we go. One last poll. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, you mentioned something the other day too, Janine. People are emailing Sarah, our tech support queue, to ask you questions on the show. And so please stop doing that. For some reason, there was a big surge of that in the last 2-3 weeks, and it's inundating the tech support queue. So Sarah has to go through all those emails to get to the people who are having trouble with their logins or their memberships and all that. So please don't do that. If you're a Discord member, you can use Discord during our live shows to ask questions, of course. And you can also ask questions to Janine in her Tarot by Janine community. That's what it's there for. And she reads all of those.
Yeah.
So please put the questions there, but don't put that into the tech support queue. It's really slowing down Sarah's ability to get to people who actually need help getting access to their products and services. Okay. Janine, advice for universe.
Okay, so this is I love this card because it's like there's a curiosity to this. The archetype of the page. So it's saying be like this, right? Be like this. So be curious, be excited about the future, like going into the future. There's so much change and it can feel really hard. We're going to have a lot of people in difficult places, like, because just think about it. A lot of the people we've been having like Christmas dinners with for the last 5 or 6 years, like our family members, for some of those years, we weren't even invited, some of us, to these gatherings. Certainly myself, I was excluded from family gatherings for about 3 years, 2.5 anyway. And then finally, like they took away those boundaries and it's been getting slowly better. But a lot of these people are really shook up with what they now know in their heart to be true. They're not necessarily openly at talking about it, but they're in rough shape here. And just in general, with all the crazy theater, if you think we're sick of the theater, people that have no idea and have no way to figure out what's going on must be like, what, right? On some level, it's got to be stressful. Okay, so we're going to have a lot of stressed out family members and friends who aren't maybe watching videos like this, so they don't know what's going on. They have no clue, and they're all in, probably some guilt mixed in there. I'm seeing that from some of my family members who didn't invite me and made sure I didn't come to parties and stuff like that. Now they're feeling remorse and guilt and all of the shenanigans that happened in the last 5 or 6 years, right? So all of that happened, a lot of disruption. Now we're going into a season and we're going to be in social events probably already happening, and gatherings, and certainly, that's if you're in a community where, you get together at this time of year, this card's more sociable. So it's a more sociable time right up until after New Year's Day, right? That's just what it's like for North Americans, but I know Europeans as well. Okay. And lots of places in the world, that's what's happening. And it's going to be hard. So we need to go in there, not anticipating an argument, but even bringing some light and love to the equation, maybe having a little bit of a sense of humor, maybe like easing the tension a little bit. Like, so not being all like gloom and doom, and don't bring a black pill into the situation. They've already got remorse. They're feeling funny. Secretly, they know they shouldn't have got 3 jabs by now if they did, stuff like that. Okay. So here there's a lot of people going to be feeling disappointed. Okay. And we're going to have to bring, so all of what we have to bring here feels like it's the up energy. We have to be the light in the room if we can. So if you have that, you have the wherewithal to do that. If you're going to go to one of these gatherings, you might want to bring some love and light and a little like even humor. Like I'm pretty good at that. Like I might say a few sarcastic things, but I try to be lighthearted or humorous about it. Right. So a little bit of humor when when the conversation turns to these serious things that are happening right now in the world. Bring a little lightness, bring a little optimism. Yeah.
Chủ nhân kịp thời đưa binh đến cứu viện, nói không chừng thực sự tái diễn sự biến trộn một vào thì không phải liên tục gật đầu. Trường Vĩnh nhân cơ hội nói: Lão Đô nghe nói Vĩnh Phúc Điện Hạ vì Thái Hoàng Thái Hậu cầu phúc muốn xuất gia tu hành để được yên tĩnh, đi em được xây ngoài ô, trách nhiệm bảo hộ cũng không thể không coi trọng nhận. Tuy nói Điện Hạ đã xuất gia, nhưng trong mắt người trong thiên hạ vẫn là nữ nhi của tiên đế, đôi môi của đương kim hoàng thượng. Nếu có đạo tặc nào đó để ý đến vậy thật sự không xong đâu. Xuất gia, thần sắc trên mặt chính đức trở nên quái dị. Xuất gia, mùi từ này sớm muộn gì cũng lao đến dương gian thôi. Chuyện này phải giúp bồi gạt người. Tuy rằng Trương Vĩnh đắm tin, nhưng chuyện hạ thuần giá này vẫn không nên nói đương ta thì hơn. Có điều hắn cũng đúng. Phụ phò mã, không phải, là anh như cô toàn vậy, cũng chỉ phái vài công nữ theo xuất gia, không có một nam nữ nào, đừng nói là an toàn, nếu công nữ nào đó xuất cung không đồng lung tung với nam nhân, ôm bụng muốn làm lớn, vậy há chẳng phải cả mọi buổi cũng không tự bảo vệ được sao? Thật đúng là nên tìm người bảo vệ, nếu không bảo như cần phái vài người đông trưởng bao vây an ninh cô lại. Trương Vĩnh vừa nhìn sắc mặt y vừa nói: Hoàng thượng chắc còn nhớ quan tổng binh, ngang binh, tống tướng quân mà khi tiêu diệt giặc Hoa ở Giang Nam phải điều động ngang binh Quảng Tây. Hoàng thượng đích thân ban chiếu bổ nhiệm, đó là một vị nữ tướng dũng mãnh trận chiến, nhiều lần đánh bại giặc Hoa, lập được chiến công hiển hách cho đại minh ta, vô cùng trung thành với triều đình. Vị nữ tướng quân này chức quan nhàn tản, việc này không có vấn đề gì. Sắp Tết rồi, nàng vào kinh thăm viếng Dương Lăng đại nhân, trùng hợp lại bị lão ngô bắt gặp. Lão ngô nghĩ vị nữ tướng này võ nghệ đã cao, lại là nữ nhân, nếu hoàng thượng mời nàng bảo vệ đi ăn, ra vào rất thuận tiện, còn không tạo nên tin đồn, cho nên liền vội vàng giữ nàng lại, vội đến gặp hoàng thượng. Hoàng thượng cảm thấy thế nào? Chính Đức vừa nghe, mặt mày hớn hở, xếp Tấu Trương lại nói: rất tốt, truyền người nghĩ theo theo chấm. Để một vị nữ tướng bảo vệ ngự muội, chủ ý này tốt vô cùng. Nói đến đây, y lông mi rung lên, trong lòng chợt nghĩ: ngàn dặm vào kinh xăm thăm soái cũ, nàng có phải là người dương thân giận trốn chứ? Nếu vậy là đã tìm một kình địch trong hội tù rồi, nàng không làm việc xấu đó mới lạ. Chính Đức nghĩ như vậy lại khéo léo từ chối nói: vì trong tướng quân này năm 20 tuổi vậy, ở trong kinh không có thân nhân sao? Nàng là thủ lĩnh trong gia, giữ nàng ở trong kinh nàng đồng ý sao? Hơn nữa nàng là nữ nhân, binh tính với tay nàng chắc không phải đều là nữ binh chứ, toàn bộ lại không thể ở trong Nghi An. Chậm lấy danh nghĩa gì mà sắp xếp đây? Không ổn. Trường Vinh nói: vì tâm tướng quân này đã có hôn ước với binh bộ kiêu kỵ tướng quân Ngô Hán Siêu, cho nên giữ nàng là ở trong kinh. Trinh nghĩ chắc nàng cũng sẽ đồng ý thôi. Để cho nàng bảo vệ Nghi An chỉ là vì tiện cho nàng ra vào xin chỉ thị tuần sát an toàn. Nhân mã của nàng dĩ nhiên là trú ở bên ngoài Am, còn về danh nghĩa cũng rất dễ dàng, dĩ nhiên chẳng phải thăng làm uy phúc không sao. Vài tòa hoàng trang của hoàng tướng đã thiếu một người trông coi rồi, chỉ bằng phong cho tâm tướng quân trước vị thống lĩnh ngự tiền thân quân này, vừa trông giữ hoàng trang lại bảo vệ Nghi An, một công đôi việc. Chính Đức Hoàng đế vừa nghe nàng đã có nhà chồng, lập tức tươi cười chân thành nói: có thể được. Biện pháp này tốt. Vậy ngươi lập tức truyền ý chỉ của chấm, bổ nhiệm tấm tướng quân làm thống lĩnh thì về thân quân ngự tiền, thay chấm quản lý hoàng trang kiêm tướng quân hộ pháp Hoàng An. Trương Vĩnh cai đúng chỗ hướng, ông ta đang muốn lĩnh chỉ lui ra. Chính Đức đột nhiên nói: ngươi vừa nói chấm lại nghĩ tới thiên hạ không yên tĩnh, thiên nam cùng chỉ đi Bá Châu kê biên tài sản làm ra, chỉ để hình bộ phái ít sai dịch đi theo cũng không phải đáng lắm. Không được, rất không an toàn. Y đứng dậy thong thả bước vài bước vào trong phòng nói: tấm tướng quân vào kinh mang theo bao nhiêu thị vệ? Trương Vĩnh vội nói: dẫn theo hơn 100 thị vệ, đều là võ sĩ giỏi giang. Chính Đức lắc đầu: không đủ. Người Đức truyền chỉ chọn ra một số cường binh trong kinh doanh, khoảng 1.000 người giao cho tấm tướng quân. Nàng là hậu pháp Hoàng An, trước anh vì chuẩn bị xây dựng Hoàng An mà đi Bá Châu kê biên tài sản, như vậy cũng coi như là trùng hợp. Dù sao hiện tại đi Am chưa xong, nàng cũng không có gì để làm, và nàng mang binh đi Bá Châu, đuổi theo Dương Thanh, trước tiên bảo vệ cho hắn. Trương Vĩnh thán phục nói: hoàng thượng chăm sóc thần tử, yêu thương vi quốc tộc, đã nuôi cảm phục vô hạn, đã mua liền đi truyền chỉ. Trương Vĩnh ban đầu còn cho rằng hoàng thượng sẽ gặp mặt Tống Tiểu Ái, không ngờ hoàng thượng sảng khoái đáp ứng như vậy. Ông ta cả người nhẹ nhàng lui ra ngoài. Chính Đức cười hít mắt nhìn ông ta rời đi, thầm nghĩ: hộ pháp, muội còn chưa qua cửa, trước hết đi bảo vệ muội tế tương lai cũng không tệ. Có lẽ là bởi vì nguyên nhân Dương Lăng lớn hơn y vài tuổi, Chính Đức tưởng tượng dáng vẻ Dương Lăng nghiêm túc gọi y một tiếng đại ca, đã cảm thấy chiếm được tiện nghi cực lớn, trong lòng vui vẻ, hoàn toàn không nghĩ đến cái giá phải giả bộ từ trong người ta. Chính Đức Hoàng đế không biết kiềm chế, tự cười ngây ngô một lát, lại cầm lấy bản tấu chương mà Lưu Cẩn phê qua kia, nhìn chăm chú, nhấc bút son, phê thêm một hàng chữ nhỏ, đồng ý kiến nghị của Lưu Cẩn, cứ chiếu theo đó mà làm. Mùa đông 100 cây tiêu điều, nhưng tiêu điều đâu chỉ có 100 cây. Tiến vào đất Bá Châu, tường mảnh hoang dã liền đập vào mi mắt. Giữa tuyết vô ngần càng có vẻ thê lương. Cành khô run trong gió lạnh, phát ra những thành âm nức nở. Dương Lăng là khâm sai, nhưng khâm sai này lại không giống khâm sai. Hiện giờ chẳng qua chỉ là ông chỉ kê biên tài sản một tham quan, chưa nói tới phái đoàn lớn gì đó. Nghi trượng của Dương Lăng chủ yếu là sai nha đến từ hình bộ. Hai vị quan kỳ bài cũng là hình bộ sai khiến. Gia tướng của quốc công chỉ có 50 người, do Lưu Đại Bồng Trùy dẫn đội, tùy ý ở bên cạnh của hắn. Ngoài trừ gia tướng từ phủ quốc công mang theo và nhân mã đến từ hình bộ, dựa theo tính cách của Bạch Tuộc Lưu Cẩn, hiện tại có quyền lực nhúng tay, y đương nhiên cũng sẽ không bỏ qua cơ hội này. Mặc dù y chưa nghĩ tới muốn mò được chút lợi lộc gì từ việc kê biên tài sản trong tiền tài của công chúa Bạch Y An, nhưng vẫn phải phái một ti lễ thái giám Lương Hồng bổ nhiệm làm Kim Ngô Hữu Vệ Đề đốc, thỉnh chỉ làm khâm sai có sứ hiệp đồng Dương Lăng phá án. Bá Châu ở thời kỳ Tống Triều là địa khu biên cảnh Liêu Tống, dùng gần 50 năm thời gian trở thành một tòa thành trì quân sự hoàn toàn, lấy phòng ngự làm công năng chủ yếu. Từ năm 1004, sau khi hiệp ước Thiền Uyên ký kết trong 120 năm, Tống Triều biến nơi này trở thành nơi để đối kháng với Liêu, cùng với nước Lưu tiến hành khắc phục mậu dịch. Trung Nguyên cùng với phương Bắc địa khu dân gian sản xuất ra các loại nông phẩm, chế phẩm đồ công nghiệp, cùng với hương thuốc hải ngoại. Liêu thì từ đó về sau đưa vào Trung Nguyên súc vật, hàng gia, dược liệu, châu lộc. Đại Tống bởi vậy trưng thu cho hết các loại thương thuế. Theo lý thuyết, chỗ như thế vốn là nên hết sức phồn hoa. Tuy nhiên gần trăm năm nay, lượng lớn ruộng đất Bát Châu bị hoàng thất và quan phủ quy hoạch làm hoàng trang, quan trang, thôn tính đất đai tới hết mức. Từ năm Vĩnh Lạc thứ 11, vì thăm lần lực lượng kỵ binh đối kháng dư nhiệt Nguyên Triều. Lúc này, kế đinh trên ngựa được thực hiện, quy định đinh dưới 15 tuổi nuôi dưỡng một con ngựa, đinh 15 tuổi trở lên nuôi dưỡng 2 con ngựa. Quan địa phương lại nhân cơ hội sưu cao thuế nặng, bóc lột dân chúng. Cuộc sống dân chúng Bá Châu lại càng thêm nghèo khổ. Tiến vào đất Bá Châu, Dương Lăng liền ra khỏi kiệu lớn, đổi bằng cưỡi một con tuần mã. Trên mặt đất tuyết mênh mông bất ngát, đột nhiên xuất hiện vài tòa thôn trang nhỏ tan hoang. Trong thôn trang nhỏ rách rưới này, phòng ốc đều đóng chặt cửa sổ lại để bớt giá lạnh. Ngẫu nhiên mới có một hai người đi đường mặc áo bông đen rách nát, hai tay giữ lấy nhau nhìn đội mũ áo giáp tươi đẹp đang đi qua. Ánh mắt dại ra giống như con tàu tê. Ngẫu nhiên mới có thể nhìn thấy bọn họ nức nít, nâng tay áo lên, nhanh nhẹn lau chùi nước mũi đã chảy tới bên miệng một cái. Nơi này chính là quê hương của Hồng Nương Tử, chính là cố hương của Thôi Oanh Nhi. Đáng yêu một chữ cũng không biết, lại trung thiên địa linh khí giống như là khối ngọc thô chưa mài rũa. Tuổi tác của nàng chỉ nhỏ hơn một chút so với Thành Thời Vận. Hơn nữa, tuổi nhỏ trà trộn giữa dân tộc, thường thấy máu tanh và xấu xa, nhưng tâm tính của nàng lại vẫn ngay thẳng chất phác, giống như một dòng suối trong dốc rách chảy từ khe núi ra. Chính là đất đai nơi này đã nuôi dưỡng nàng. Đội ngũ mát tạc của nàng chính là tung hoành tại mảnh thổ địa này, nhưng vì sao một ngọn núi đều không nhìn thấy? Khi có cây sống lại, những mảng đất đai rộng rãi trống trải này hẳn không phải là ruộng tốt thì chính là đồng cỏ chứ. Cỏ xanh mượt cao hơn một ngựa, một con tuấn mã không gì trói buộc,